Hey folks, how you doing out there? Sorry for that false start. If you saw that, there used to be a counter up on the live video on the screen that I could see, and now they've moved that. How you doing? Yeah, I said I wasn't going to do any Facebook Live. I am going to still do some Facebook Live. Uh, I'm going to do some more of my more in-depth content. We might be shooting that, pre-shooting it, something of that nature. But I'm still going to come at you from time to time. And today we're going to have a little fun here. Um, it's been my little goal here to do some summer Scotch kind of ideas. But there are some days that are just too hot for Scotch. You know what I mean? Maybe not. I don't know. I think I can drink Scotch anytime, all the time. But sometimes you just you don't have a taste for Scotch. That's one of these nights tonight. We're off after some work during the day, so we're just hanging out. I'm going to bring you a drink that I love to drink. I am not a mixologist. I'm not a bartender. But I've seen some of the work that some of the bartenders do. Yeah, you know what? Maybe, yeah. Dial it back a little bit on the fancy stuff. Here you go. This is a nice Scotch tradition drink. We're going to make you the Rob Roy. Now, the Rob Roy is not all that different from a Manhattan, okay, if you know that. But I like to put just a little bit of a twist on it. So what you're going to need is you're going to need some Scotch. You're going to need some sweet vermouth. You're going to need some bitters. My little take on it is just this way, and I'll just also tell you kind of, some of my little ideas to just maybe get somewhat creative. When I'm making this drink, I kind of, what Scotch am I going to use for the base of the drink? Oh, Michelle, could you do me a favor? Can you give me the measure? Yeah, here it is. No, it's here. What Scotch am I going to use for the make of the drink, or the base of the drink? Well, that kind of depends on what sweet vermouth I'm using. If I'm using something that's just, kind of your basic Dolan, or something that's, kind of, a sweet vermouth, but not a real pungent, real ripper, then I might use something that is a Scotch that might have a little bit of a sherry finish or something of that nature. Single malt Scotch, I might even use something like that, or something that has a real fruity punch. When it comes to this drink, I generally love Cocchi. Oh, I said that almost right. Not Cocchi, but Cocchi. Cocchi. There you go. That was better. Vermouth. Italian vermouth. This is a real pungent ripper. All right. It's also a little more expensive. So when I make it, I like to make it right. So when I'm using something like that, then I want to dial it back and find something that's really just some Scotch that's probably been mostly just bourbon cask, aged. Something of that nature. And I'll usually go to a blended Scotch. Tonight, I can think of no better than what we've brought up many times that I haven't talked about in quite a bit, and I kind of need a new one, Moneky Shoulder. Moneky Shoulder is a malted blend, meaning it's coming from three single malts blended. It used to be, I'm going to lose what it was, Glenalky, Canenvy, and I can't remember what they were. They've changed that blend around a little bit in recent times. You can see, if you know Moneky Shoulder, you see it on the shelf. You can see that they've changed the label. They've changed the label a couple of times. Moneky Shoulder refers to, in the old days, when people were turning the malts on the malting floor, this condition you'd get with this kind of malt pitchfork. They don't do that anymore, so nobody has Moneky Shoulder, but they commemorated it in this bottling. All right, this is nice. This has been around a little while. It really caught on. I kind of like this stuff neat sometimes. But here's a little trick. I'm going to do this with Moneky Shoulder. I've already told you about the vermouth. And the only other change is going to make a regular bitters. We're going to use Regan's orange bitters. Bitters for me to say. The one little trick that I like to do, and I've mentioned this before, is I like to make it a little smoky, but I don't want to use a peated single malt Scotch or a heavily peated blended Scotch, because that can overpower and kind of trick it. But I just like this little hint of smoke. So what I do, and I've done this before, sometimes, for instance, Moneky Shoulder also has the company also has a smoky monkey. It's not available in the States. So when I want to make a smoky monkey, I'll do a little blend of a very inexpensive peated Scotch. This one is a Trader Joe's called Islay Storm. We don't know where it's from. It has no age statement on it, so all we know about this is it's bottled at 40%, and it's got to be aged at least 3 years. However, for this drink, I got my my chilled glass here, I'm not even going to pour it as part of the drink. I'm going to pour just a little bit, and like I said, this stuff is like under 20 bucks, or maybe it's 20 bucks now. I really use this for experimenting. It is very high peat, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to give the glass a little swish, okay, and let it sit for a second. Now I'm going to make the drink. Okay, that's not going into the drink. So today, like I said, we're going to use Moneky Shoulder. I like this. I like it kind of pungent, so I use kind of a higher ratio. And again, I'm not a mixologist. I have gotten good at eyeballing this. I'll pour this real quick, and you'll see that I'll stop, and it'll be right at 2 ounces. I'm using 2 ounces of this. Okay. Boom. 1 ounce of this stuff. This stuff is so delicious. I love this. Boy, this is very good. Also note, this is expensive, but you can get it in 2 bottle sizes. And that also might be good, because if you're not going to be making these all the time, this vermouth especially does kind of have a it gets a little, you know, over pungent if it's in the fridge for too long. Matter of fact, I think there was even a spot on this to mark when you open it. There's debate on how long vermouth stays in the fridge, but I hardly ever buy the big bottle of that. Okay, finally, I'm going to add a little bit of the bitters. Okay, the orange bitters. This is Regan's, or maybe it's Regan's orange bitters, number 6. They have also changed that label since we bought that. And now, as tradition, I'm going to stir for 1 minute. Don't like to shake this one, just like to stir it. The thing about the history on the Rob Roy is this is a drink that I think it starts popping up a little bit after the Manhattan, obviously, because it's almost exactly the same. Okay, the Rob Roy, we started seeing that terminology in the book from the Waldorf Astoria, the original one in New York. We started seeing this in the recipe book in 1894. Rob Roy is just kind of a fictional. No, not fictional. I don't know if he's fictional. I lost my train of thought on that. It's kind of a Robin Hood figure in Scotland, Rob Roy McGregor. So this drink was named after an operetta that was called Rob Roy in New York, 1894. I could have put the top on, but that's got to sound great on camera. So here we go. Pour it, right? No. I have that single malt Scotch whiskey, the cheap Islay Storm. I'm just dumping it out. I'm just gonna kind of shake the glass. I'm just gonna kind of just coat it with a little bit of that peated smell. And that's my little trick. Pour it. Kind of spill it into the computer. Get all the juice out. And I like to top it with just one maraschino cherry, good quality maraschino cherry. There you go. That's a Rob Roy. You can see I chilled the glass, so the thing is nice and cold. It's just a nice little twist on a Manhattan. If you use the right Scotch, coupled with a pretty pungent sweet vermouth, it'll have just the right amount of sweetness on there. Sometimes if you use too much of Scotch, and too much of a sweet, fruity Scotch. Oh, what's cool about this is, again, I get none of that smoky flavor on the taste, but on the nose of this is very unique. Michelle, are you here? Oh. So there you go. 2 ounces of Scotch, again, depending on what you want to do and your price range. Like I said, I'm not going to throw $60 Scotch into this drink. I've done it a couple of times. Moneky Shoulder is great for this. Another one that's great for this is just doing it with, I like doing it with Dewar's 12-year. The white label, it's a little past, a little too oaky, but the 12-year is great for this drink. Here you go. Get yourself 2 ounces of Scotch, 1 ounce of this vermouth, some bitters, cherry, you're good to go. Mostly I just wanted to say hello and just put up a nice little video here since we had some time off. As I have mentioned in some of my text posts, I'm going to kind of regroup a little bit on this with the fact that Facebook has taken all of the previous live video content here. So if it was uploaded, it's still here, but they took all the live video content. And then I did try to download it, but then it wasn't like you could do that initially. They had to send you a package of a zipped compressed file. I got that, and it's very unwieldy. It's a very noisy drink and a wink. Smell this. What's really smell and just taste it. What you're gonna do is when you smell it, you're gonna smell that peated whiskey that I coated the glass with. Right? But drink it. Are you getting it in the taste?
No.
Isn't that weird?
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What? Oh, it's all right. Rob Roy, we're done and dusted. I don't know what I'm going to bring to you next, but like I said, we're kind of switching things around a little bit, and who knows? Maybe if any of my musical educational entities care to pay me on time, maybe I'll get another bottle soon. Right, Michelle? Right, Michelle? Sure. Oh, man. Adjunct teaching. As Jimmy Buffett says, the occupational hazard is the occupation just ain't around.